But I thought it would be
easy to talk.
And make room to enjoy the kitchen through the sunsets. Hi guys. Say hi, potatoes. Say hi, this is my last video. So this is Sunshine's last video. She is going to be moving to Kentucky and living with my family on their farm. I'm sad. I don't know if she's sad. I will miss her a lot. But choices had to be made. So, I'm not going to say anything else because I'll cry. And I've been crying since like midnight last night, which doesn't mean anything to you unless you know it's 9 o'clock the next evening. So a lot of tears. Thought we would film one last video together for you guys. This one's going to be a little different because it is my 10th journal. I thought it would be nice to kind of just commemorate the first 10 journals being done by writing a letter to 16-year-old Bailey, giving her a little bit of wisdom and love that I have now, 15 years later.
The way you know me, the way you love me, it's so natural, can't remember me without you.
Journal.
So everybody, the you that I see, every day with you is like a glimpse of eternity.
This out for myself. I don't have any explanation other than maybe this was the only one that was like semi-awesome. I definitely would not pick this out for myself today. I'm gonna rate this journal, I'm gonna say 5, right down the middle, because I have some good memories in it, like as my first all-nighter with Faith where she taught me how to dance and we spent like an hour frantically trying to find these pictures of a boy we both thought were really cute. Bethany, my sister-in-law, coming to visit us after her and my brother got engaged, and then also my dear friend Danielle. Journal went to Morocco and it went to Spain. And then I've obviously said this already, but I bought this. I got my own journal and it did not fall apart. So here we have my Kelsey journal. Kelsey was one of my friends from Wisconsin. We both had diseases. She has CF, cystic fibrosis, and I obviously have arthritis. And so we kind of bonded over that. She's a few years younger than me, but we were the only two who kind of had these medical conditions. And then this little scribble here, I believe, is probably from Malik. And I started May 27th and I ended September 4th. So this was over the summer. I turned 16. I do want to share a couple funny stories from my siblings. So Malik turned 2 on June 19th. I said I had a couple birthday moments I wanted to share. So Malik, this is for you. You're welcome. Number 1, Malik pooped in his bath tonight and Demetrius was with him. Number 2, him and Demetrius were climbing on me like a jungle gym, and he had just been walking on me. Then Mom came into the room and I said, "Hey Mom, watch what Malik does," fully expecting him to walk on me. And Malik says, "Hoof, Mommy," and crouches down, jumps, and lands right on my face. I laughed so hard that I almost peed my pants, which I'm surprised that I didn't die because Malik was a ginormous child. He was 13 pounds, 2 ounces when he was born, and he only got bigger. So that was my Malik memories. And then one of my favorite Demetrius memories ever from when he was a child is from September 3rd. Yeah. And we were having family time, and it was Demetrius's turn to say how God had answered his prayers. And he said,
God hasn't answered any of my prayers.
And Mom said, well, what do you pray for? And he said,
A horse, a goat, a herd of sheep.
By that time, Tally and I couldn't hold back any longer, and we burst out laughing. It was really, really funny. That's one of my favorite Demetrius memories, like, ever. In honor of Danielle, and because she is a friend who's no longer with us, I want to share one of my favorite Danielle moments that happened when she was visiting us in Morocco. She was watching all four of us, me, Talia, Demetrius, and Malik, while my parents were gone for a little bit. And so we were gonna have grilled cheese sandwiches for supper, and Danielle leads the charge with like,
grilled cheese sandwiches!
And we're all like, yeah, grilled cheese sandwiches! And we're so excited, and we start off at a run, and Danielle steps on the edge of her skirt and rips her skirt because we're so excited about grilled cheese sandwiches. And that was just one of the funniest memories. She left the skirt for me later, and my mom, patched it up, and I wore it, and I'd always remember grilled cheese sandwiches. But I think the most important thing Danielle did for me during that trip was there was one time where I wrote how she just laid on my bed and let me talk. And I just spent I would be irritated, but that's the last time she's gonna do that in a video. But maybe she'll come back. Maybe she'll come back before the end of the series. Okay, moving on. I just wrote how Danielle spent time just listening to me and letting me talk, and how important that made me feel, and how much better I felt when that was done. And so I just want to honor Danielle, honor who she was as my friend, and the fact that she came all the way to Morocco to see us and spend time with us, and I'm very thankful. I really, really, really wanted to not be distracted by boys and have feelings for boys or pursue relationships with boys while I was in high school. That was something I wanted. I wanted to focus on high school while I was in high school. I knew I wasn't old enough to get married, and that was my personal choice. Me wanting to do that gave myself some unrealistic expectations. So obviously, I've been crushing on Caleb for, 5, 6, 7 months now. And then I meet another boy during this time where I just go like full out flirtatious mode. I was reading it and I was like,
who is she?
Flirty Baylea came alive that week in Spain, and now that boy is married, as is every other boy that I ever was attracted to, pretty much.
Love that for me.
Definitely had a lot of conflicting emotions, a lot of confusing emotions, and the thing is, I was still a sponge. But now I was not in the safety of a place where I had young adults and peers who were sewing into my life and spending time listening to me and allowing me to talk. I was in a country where I didn't have close friends yet. In June, we moved 2 hours away into the mountains. I didn't even have a youth group. Faith wasn't in the country that summer. And I was like, what? First I leave Wisconsin and Becky, and then Quentin and Sean leave me, and now we're moving up into the mountains, and Faith isn't even in the country anymore. And it was just like, a lot of things were stripped away from me. And I still was looking to other people to show me that I was valuable and I had worth, that I was okay. In that season, and in lots of seasons, I began to notice the attention I was getting from guys. I lived in a small mountain village. My sister and I were the only white girls who lived there. We obviously were pretty noticeable. I really struggled with wanting to live this lifestyle of purity and figuring out who I was, but then I still had this deep desire to be known to be heard, to be understood, to be told I was valuable. I wasn't getting that. And so I was going to these cheap imitations, so to speak, of places where I felt like I was getting something, but at the end of the day, I really wasn't. So I was talking about a boy that I kind of knew he was at the same place I was, and I was kind of like, oh, maybe like he'll pay attention to me. I said there's no reason to encourage him except that I want his attention. I so want a boyfriend, so he can tell me what to do. I need some guy in my life right now to help me. All my big brothers are gone, so I'm left to muddle through by myself. It's so hard on me. I feel so plain. All I want to do is feel loved, as a friend even, by a guy. Even by this young man who ended up being not a good person.
Was not worth my time at all.
This is in August, and I said, I was reading back over Spain, and it seemed so dumb, especially after seeing Caleb. I had seen Caleb again. It was so dumb. Caleb is so mature. Just seeing him for the little while at church told me how mature he is.
I mean, such a dumb girl with stupid girl emotions.
I feel like crying. Why? Because of Caleb? Because of Becky not being here? Because I haven't heard from Sean? Because I feel lonely? I think that my emotions for Caleb stirred all of this up. All this talk about being mature. I can't be mature right now. And then I wrote a prayer and I said, God, I need help. I'm hurting. Be with me. I need a strong, secure, mature relationship with you before I can even think about Caleb or anyone else. Help me trust you. You know so much better than I do. But I get jealous. Doesn't anyone out there think of me as cute or mature or nice or something? I feel so unloved, like a failure. I know I'm good, but does anyone else know or care? Why do I care so much whether people notice or not? Is there something wrong with me, God? Or does everyone have better cover-ups for their longings than I do? God, are you waiting for me to be mature before I get the desire of my heart? And the verse that says, guard your heart. How come I always end up doing the exact opposite? Am I as frustrating to you right now as I am to myself? I was doing so well for a while. What happened? Oh yeah, I met Caleb. One of the most encouraging, mature, God-loving, on-fire, people-caring, and handsome guys I have ever met. I don't know what to do, but I might be a nun, just so I won't have any boys around to distract me. I obviously had a lot of confusing emotions, and it's not just in this journal. It's in several journals to come, several years to come. Reading this was really hard. I set myself some unrealistic expectations. Just naive expectations, and when I couldn't meet those, when I noticed a boy was cute, or I wanted attention from a guy, or I struggled with being single, I felt so much shame. I felt so much frustration. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write a letter to my 16-year-old self and tell her what I wish someone would have told me when I was 16. Dear 16-year-old Bailey, you're not bad. You're not broken. If I was there with you now, I would sit down next to you and let you talk and just listen. Because I think deep down that's what you needed. Just someone to hear you. And then, when you're done talking yourself in circles, I know you. We still do it. I'm going to look you in the eye and say, you are doing so good. And I'm going to say it again, just so you know I mean it. Bailey, you are doing so good. I'm so proud of you for wanting to keep your heart pure and focus on what is important. But I also want you to know that noticing that a guy is cute or being attracted to someone as amazing as Caleb doesn't mean you're failing. There are things about yourself that you don't know yet or have language for. So I'm going to do my best to tell you a few things. Bailey, you are a sponge. A beautiful, wonderful, valuable sponge who is worthy of being loved. But that means that when you feel dry, you frantically start searching for anything that looks like water. And I'm sorry to say this, but we're really good at finding things that look like water, but is not. You don't realize it, but you're terrified of letting people know that you don't know what you're doing. It's okay to be honest with yourself. Also, stop bashing your emotions and your femininity. They're not stupid. And neither are you, even though you feel it sometimes with how the world around you works. If I could go back and redo just one thing, I would take more deep breaths and let go of the things that don't matter. I know you wish I would say that I would go back and ignore all the boys, but that's not realistic. The rude boys who just want your attention because you're American, yeah, you really should have ignored them. Also, the nun option isn't really a good one because becoming a nun just to avoid boys doesn't work, which you should know since you've watched The Sound of Music. I think something that you and possibly your entire family has forgotten is that just 6-7 months ago, your world was turned completely upside down. You moved continents, you lost dear friends to long distance, you became the oldest sibling, and took on a whole new culture and language. Your entire being is still whirling with change. And then you moved again. You moved away from all that you'd grown to know, and all the friends you've been blessed to make, and now you're even more isolated. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel like everything is exploding on the inside. Give yourself grace. I'm going to say it again, but this time to me. Bailey, give yourself grace. The way you're coping with everything right now isn't the healthiest, but it is understandable. I wish I knew what to tell you and what you could do differently, but I'm not really sure I know. I may be older and wiser with more life experiences, but I know you were doing the best you could with what you had. I do wish there was a friend for you there in that time to look out for you and help guide your sponginess, but you don't, and I'm really sorry. There are seasons where things are stripped away from us, and we have to make choices as to how we're going to get through them. There were times when you made poor decisions, but you felt that. You understood that it was a poor decision, and you wanted to do better next time. That's not failing. That's called growing up. That's called learning. I know you feel this, so I'm going to say it. You don't have to be perfect. God doesn't expect you to be perfect. I wish I could say that to your face right now and watch the relief fill your eyes. Maybe that's not something you're ready to actually hear and believe yet. Whether or not you do believe it, it's true. Even in the hard, confusing situations, you keep coming back to Him. You never give up. And I am proud of you. One last thing. You're not too much. Your emotions are not too much. You feel that you have so much inside of you, and there's no place safe enough or big enough to hold all of you, so you hold it back. You begin to tell yourself your emotions are bad because they make you do things like Caleb and Miss Becky and feel hurt when people ignore you. Your emotions are valid and worthy of being felt and heard and understood. Don't dwell on the negative ones, but also don't ignore them. Feel the "I'm so angry that my brother left me" and cry about it. Feel the "sometimes the way guys look at me makes me feel unsafe," and know that your intuition should always be listened to. Let them out and make room for enjoying the sunsets through the kitchen window, and Demetrius making you laugh, and Talia becoming your friend, and Arabic becoming easier to speak. Who you are is okay. And I'm sorry that you don't feel that, and you don't have a voice in your life to tell you the truth. When you feel like you're failing, know that you're not. Because every morning you wake up and you choose. You choose to love. You love your family, even when your parents are fighting, and even when your siblings don't listen, and even when you don't hear from Becky, and even when you hate the way boys make you feel crazy on the inside. You're doing it. Now look me in the eyes again, because I want you to listen very carefully. I love you. I didn't back then, and I'm sorry. So I'm telling you now, I love you, and I release you from the pressure to be perfect and to know how to deal with everything on your own. Thank you for the choices that you made back then that have made me who I am today. Love, 31-year-old Bayley. So this journal was finished September 4th at 21:37 in my room on my bed in the mountains, September 4th, 2004. And then it was done.
I would dance here forever if it brought you